Well, it's hot and humid, and forward-thinking Singapore broke free of its reputation in business as an airline hub more than a decade ago with the emergence of F1 and the original nighttime race. The Asian city-state, just one of three in the world, alongside with the Vatican City, Monaco, and the cultural meaning. Hot in a spicy mix of Chinese, Malay, Indian, international experts in a futuristic urban paradise. One filled with local delights and a green space ensuring that residents can take a break from the madness. It's race week and it's the glamorous Marina Bay circuit. This is the place you want to be. This circuit is constructed back in May. They begin and the barriers go up, the lights will go on. And this is one of the truly glamorous streets on the calendar of the Formula One circuit. We've had a bit of a breather and we've had a bit of a relaxation. Europe is done and dusted, and the rest of the world is certainly here. And we are certainly back here in Racing Statistics channel, of course, with all you gladiators out there in the chat. You all know what's going on, and we all know how crucial that this championship can be today. This evening. It's free practice. Yes, it's only one free practice session, another one, and then another free practice session, and then another qualifying session. After that, there's one gladiator. That Dutchman, the Dutch army have followed him around all these circuits. The Red Bull driver, Max Verstappen, if he gets the results of all results around Singapore, gets that race win, he could be crowned the second time World Championship of Formula One. Hello, welcome along. I am the Dean Biggles. Join me again is the legend himself, Mr. Feral. How are you doing?
I'm doing fairly well. Thanks for asking. Looking forward to this track as I have missed it the last time out it happened. So I think, I can't really remember when I have seen when I've seen a Singapore Grand Prix last. So
2019, my friend, was the last time we ever were here.
Yeah, but I didn't manage that one. So all I know is in the Formula One game, I hate this track with a passion.
Oh.
So, but it's always
that's one for a poll, real quick there, Feral. I mean, there's one track I really hate with a passion. Actually, it's Monaco. But yeah, guys. All right, street circuit. Which is the best, Monaco or Singapore? You guys could vote for the one, but Feral, sorry, cut you off, mate. Welcome back.
Definitely Singapore. Just because I personally can't drive it for shit doesn't mean that it's a crappy track.
On that one, mate. Yep.
Yeah, I need to get myself a soundboard for that.
I got it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you're right. You're good. Guys, who's excited? But it feels like, I mean, it feels like we've had a vacation for like 6 months for the last GP race, haven't we, in Europe? And now we're flyaway races. 6 to go after Singapore, mate. This is going to get spicy, and Max could wrap it up. But, however, I've been chatting to so many people over the week, and you guys are all fantastic Formula One enthusiasts. And I've had people going, it's going to be a Mercedes victory. I've had a bunch of people tell me it's going to be George Russell's time to win for Mercedes. I've had people saying, all right, Max is going to do the Max destruction that Max has been doing recently. I've had people call out and say, you know what, Biggles, forget Ferraris, get Red Bulls. This could be something like, Latifi winning or whatever. I mean, it's crazy is what's happening right now in the Formula One.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if we're looking at the track and the real strength of the Mercedes, I think this might very well be a Mercedes weekend and might even be the first, hopefully not the last, but probably also the last win for a Mercedes car.
So prove it, my friend. Who is the mastermind of the Singapore GP? Who is the king? We all know that the legends of Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher have owned tracks before. But you guys out there, come on! This is why I want to throw everybody in the chat, because I know everybody in Racing Statistics loves their statistics. Who is the mastermind? Who is the legend? Who is the king, essentially, of Singapore? Come on, guys. And he's still racing on the grid. So there it is. They all know it immediately. Sebastian Vettel has won more Singapore GPs than anybody else in multiple cars.
Yeah, all of those Formula One history curveballs you throw. I'm terrible with Formula One history.
But you're good at the engineering side of things, mate, which is why I
Absolutely.
love enjoying to have you back in the casting
The engineering,
box.
the data, the how things will go, predict stuff.
Now, I believe you're down. You only live like about 10 minutes away from the Sauber factory, of course, which is very obviously heavily involved in still
whenever
everything.
you say this, it's always getting about 5 minutes shorter. It is still 20 minutes away from the factory. It isn't 15. It isn't 10.
Did you go down to the Alfa Romeo? Did you get any inside information to find out?
Yeah, no. I asked over the summer break if I could be there and do an interview with, I don't know, even the janitor or something. I would have thought that would be fun, having an interview live here with the janitor of the Alfa Romeo.
For forgiveness than permission. You just sneak in there and just go, oops, my bad, I'm not supposed to be here. Oops. But then meanwhile, you heard the strategy, isn't it? And what would be the strategy around this track? That's going to be amazing, isn't it? And with the weather. Now, let's not even talk about that right now, guys, because I knew you were saying it's going to rain. All right. You're 1 degree north of the equator, my friend. 1 degree north of the equator at nighttime. It generally does not rain in this neck of the woods. I've been to Singapore multiple times. Haven't lived in Singapore. But hey, this is a tricky place with weather.
Yeah, it is kind of like all of that Southern Asian part is, right? You either have searing heat with high humidity, or you have torrential rainfalls. By the way, just so we don't miss out on that one, we have had a green flag almost a minute ago, and the Alfa Romeos are already out on track. First one's out, Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou. By the way, Zhou has been re-signed with Alfa Romeo, which I think was a fairly good choice. Another good choice that has been made is Latifi has been sacked. Looks like we won't see the Nutella Man back in 2023.
You mean Go Tiffy? That's what the rumor goes out on the chat, obviously recently. But you know what? If you got to be fired from a team, if you get a race win right now, imagine if you won Singapore. Do you think he could probably like negotiate, knock on the door and say, well, maybe that was a bad idea for you guys to fire me? Anyway, obviously the chances of that is pretty slim. But hey, Singapore is Singapore. And we don't have to obviously remind ourselves of the old school days of back in the Renault period, of course, with that Dwarf 2008 crash gate scandal when Nelson Piquet was ordered to crash on turn 17, helping the two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. And guys, we're not even going to talk about all this other scandals that people are thinking that happened during the other parts of this year. Let's just take it for what it is right now. But we definitely are, as you mentioned, in a free practice session. We will podcast this a little bit, okay, guys? So don't worry too much about that because it's free practice. But when push comes to crunch, and we will give you those results as they need to. We love you out there, by the way, in the chat. Thank you very much, guys. Jose, man, Jose is back, right?
I mean, I missed Jose.
Yeah, Emar is here, mate. I tell you what, that guy, I cast him in esports racing, and he's in a Ferrari right now. As Charles Leclerc is in a Ferrari out there, that guy can drive. I mean, Charles Leclerc and any Ferrari driver right now would be looking over his shoulder right now, going, "Emar could be the future." But for now,
let's get into this question here from Nash the second. What do you think? Will Gasly go to Alpine, or will he stay with the AlphaTauri team?
That's interesting. That's for you guys out there. You guys crunch all those numbers, man. I've just cast it. All right, you're the engineer. You can, pull all the bits in the garage and make those cars go faster. Let's rely on those people in the racing statistics chat to give us all those statistics.
Yeah, well, the thing is, AlphaTauri as this little sister or almost like daughter team to Red Bull. I don't think Gasly would get any significant championship impacts as long as he stays with a Toro Rosso. The other problem is that he is like not even on speaking terms with Ocon anymore. So while he might do great things in an Alpine, the driver pairing will be fairly crappy, basically. So
I know, yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, my friend. Racing statistics wouldn't be anything without King Chow out there. King Chow. You know that guy. He's been around the block a few times. He's supported this channel multiple times, and he keeps throwing money at us. He's donating money, and I tell you what, mate. Thank you very much, because definitely this channel wouldn't be anything without you, my friend. And we are very much glad to have you back again in the channel, as well as everybody else, of course. If you don't have to throw money in to supporting this channel to be a part of it, we just love to hear your voices, and it is what it is, isn't it, mate? But free practice underway. Guess what? The weather is good. There's no rain. It's cloudy, overcast. Guarantee you one thing, my friend. It's humid. 60 degrees usually is the heat that you're going to have in it. Now, they're not going to be obviously in the car for 2 hours that you would be in during a regular race. And all the drivers, this is the longest race of the season, okay? Sitting in a cockpit. And we would be burning up in that car. It's if you've ever been anywhere near the equator before, it's humid. The humidity is just like you're dripping in sweat. And inside that car, inside your racing suit, inside the heats and the temperatures grueling around the track, it's crazy. These guys drop up to 3 kilograms of weight during a race event. Now, even for practice and stuff, they're probably going to drop half a kilogram. Yeah. So there's your exercise, guys. You want to lose weight? Drive for Formula One.
Yeah, or apparently play chess.
Oh, okay.
That's like it is actually like chess players apparently drop up to 1 kilogram during a game as well. Didn't believe it, saw it in a documentary, absolutely no other base, no source here.
I have statistics needs to host some chess tournaments at that point in the future, don't we? Because I didn't realize that. Okay, that's awesome. See, you're too technical, my friend. You're too much of an engineer. You know too much information. We're gonna have to sneak you back down to the Sauber garage here in Switzerland.
Well, you know, also I drop up to 10 IQ points with half a day of work.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 10 IQ points hanging with me in the casting box, but there it is. Kind words. Anyway, they are under a free practice session, guys, at the moment. So guys and girls, of course, everybody's tuning in. So those timetables will tumble tooth and nail like a 1929 stock exchange. However, they're not representative as they're just getting their warm-up laps. Now, as an engineer yourself, Aaron, I've asked you this before, as we've casted before many times. What goes through an engineer's mind in a team when this is a free practice session, right? To the first one, you could kind of just anything you want, right? Choose whatever tires, whatever fuel load. What's going through the minds right now of the teams?
It's actually fairly structured. First thing you're going to think of is way before the weekend. Actually, at the beginning of the season, you go to Singapore, so you order tires. So what tires are good? We want to go with rather more hard compounds? Do we want to have a mixed set? Do we want to go for more softer compounds? Whatever. You order those tires way ahead of the Grand Prix.
Now, you can't change them once they're delivered, right? So it's kind of like, you're ordering something on Amazon.
You order them
there, right? You can't refund
it. Order them at the beginning of the season, and whatever you ordered is what you get.
How do you know? Do you order it in the first race, or you order a few races before?
A few races before, usually around, I don't know the exact, but I think it is at the first testing.
What, that far forward? How would you know what's going to happen in Singapore? Like, what are we? How many races down on this one?
Well, basically, you have been to Singapore before. You know around what time it is. You know the climate there. You know the track more or less.
2019. We're in 2022 space now.
Well, you basically just look at the track map and you see some straights, lots of corners.
It's not raining at the moment too, by the way, in the chat. Yeah, but keep going. I was just reading through that one. Yep.
Yeah, but then you're basically there. You look at the track, you be like, all right, lots of braking zones,
And
lots
guess
of
who's
tight
about to cross the line
corners.
soon, my friend? I have to say, Max Verstappen is on fire. I mean, remember, this is free practice. Okay, I think Max is going to set a statement down here.
He's at 1 minute 47 at the moment. Looks like he's yeah, that's gonna be a quick one, but yeah, no. Basically, the tires are already set. So about 2 weeks ahead of the Grand Prix, you're gonna look at the first weather data. How's the air pressure? Density. Like for example, if you go to Mexico, you drive the maximum downforce you can because the track is at very high altitude and you have very low air pressure. So you want to go for the maximum downforce.
Well, yep, go ahead.
You want to go for the maximum downforce there because with less air pressure, you have less air pressing down on the car. And even though it is a rather high-speed track in Mexico, you want to have the maximum amount of downforce because there is no air to create drag. You're going to set up the turbos, the engine, the maps, and so on. You're going to set everything way ahead of time. So in practice, it is basically just you have your setup, you have your thoughts, you have your whole mentality. You strap on the tires, you send the car out, you're there being like, all right, I want you to drive a 1 minute 45. Driver goes out, driver tells you, front isn't bitey enough. My rear is too twitchy. I can't get tire temperature in the right window. And in practice, you basically, as an engineer, you do nothing but react to whatever driver feedback you have. Everything else is planned way ahead of time.
And as an engineer, what happens when a driver says, I don't get the drink? What do you do to that?
They get what?
When a driver like Kimi Räikkönen says, I don't get the drink, I did not have the drink, how would you respond to that as an engineer?
Well, probably I could bring you a glass of water next time you're in the pits.
Oh, you can't say that to me anyway. I know what you mean, but yeah, thank you very much. By the way, McLaren is sporting a new livery. Unfortunately, we can't show you the pictures there. Otherwise, we'll get a little bit of trouble from the Formula One Association. But trust me, guys, you just go into Google and type in McLaren livery, and you'll find that one. Looking good. They're throwing paint all over those cars.
Russell there, having a huge lockup, setting it off the track.
But look at the Red Bulls, mate. Max Verstappen, max time. I mean, 1.1 second quicker than his teammate in the. Oh, of course, it's free practice. But I think Max is just kind of like going, do you think I should show off before I win the championship? Do you think Max?
I don't know. I really hope he does not win the championship here. Just I don't know with the whole Red Bull Honda thing that has been happening and being Red Bull powertrain at the moment. I would love for him to win the championship at Suzuka. Ooh, Russell even hit the wall there.
There is a Mercedes into the wall. And
I'm just trying to no damage. That's Russell.
How do you bang that car into a wall, Singapore, which takes no prisoners, and not get a front wing damage? That was Russell.
Well,
right?
it was a very, very soft wall.
Unbelievable. There's no soft barriers in Singapore, mate. I don't even know how he managed to get it. You guys can't see he's gone back to the pit lane. He's got a front wing, end plates, and everything attached to it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. He hit the barrier as a bit over dramatic. Like he slid into the barrier at about walking speed and buried the nose about.
Okay, you saying that as
10 to 15 centimeters, half a foot into a pillow. Okay.
Multi-million-dollar precision instruments. You're saying if you just slightly bang it into a wall, Verstappen's responding, going Mercedes into a wall, Verstappen into sector 2, annihilating this track right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, another fastest overall.
I would not be surprised if he will be at least 2.5 seconds over Perez. Let's see what Maxi can do. It's Maxi time. It's Singapore.
So you call him at a 1 minute 44.
You call
I think it's 44 and a half.
It's just quick. But why is he setting so... I mean, we all know Mercedes did it in the past, right? You kind of sandbag a little bit during free practices. It does not look like at all that Red Bull is sandbagging anything. Are they throwing the gauntlet down and saying, okay, this is it. It's our time. Bring it in Singapore.
Yeah, well, that's just different strategies you can use through free practice one, because it's always tricky what you show. Like, what part of your hand do you show to your opponents?
So why
you
are they turning up to the poker table and throwing all the cards down immediately? I don't understand that.
Well, basically because they have a royal flush on their hands, or they feel like they have a royal flush on their hands. So you just show everything and be like, you know what, you guys don't even try and mess with us. You know?
Yeah. So you're doing that. You're doing that psychological approach, right? You're like going, yeah, I'm the big dog. I'm the big bad, biggest, best racing team in the West. So if you want a showdown, pull. See how quick you can fire, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what you do. I mean, on the other hand, the sandbagging tactics we have seen a lot of Mercedes is about the same thing. You're there like driving your, I don't know, 1 minute 45, 1 minute 46, like everybody else. You're kind of in the mix. And then as soon as the race comes, it's just like, bam, 1 second more pace per lap, and everybody else is just struggling with their things. It's basically, you can imagine it like, I imagine most of you have played the one or other sim racing game. When you're online, when you're having an opponent, there's two good ways on trying to get past them. Either you just get back there, put pressure on them, and try to force them into an error, or you just stay back a little, conserve your tires, and whenever they do not, I don't know, whenever they're not expecting with it, you just come out and bite.
Or maybe at the moment, Norris has got paint all over his car at the moment as they're doing the exact same thing as engineers, just trying to test the aero performance there of the McLaren team. Or perhaps they're going to just sit down and have a chess match and drop a couple of kilograms of weight, as you mentioned, playing that chess game. And speaking of which, now we have Charles Leclerc has yet to set a time to the other Ferrari. Now, Carlos Sainz, his teammate at the moment, has set a time in P4, and that's obviously just relative of what they're testing. They're throwing paint tooth and nail over that brand new livery, of course, from the McLaren team as they pull Mr. Lando Norris into the pit garage. Now, what does that paint do when that colored paint on the car as an engineer?
Well, that is basically there. You apply a thin layer, and when you drive, the air rushing over it, basically brushes the paint over the car, and it starts to dry. And then you see pockets basically in it, like wherever the paint is very dense, you know that that's an air pocket there. That is where the airflow detaches from the car, which creates drag.
Okay. So but what can you do? Obviously, you generally, I mean, you're not in parc fermé conditions, obviously, during free practice, but how much change can you, well, are you doing it? Are you testing for a future track? Because obviously you can't change the chassis or any of those major aerodynamic parts.
Oh, you can.
Right.
You can, like, during the race, no, but now in free practice, if they feel like it, they can restructure the whole car.
What would they do then if the paint says, and by the way, Max Verstappen is going to just annihilate this lap right now again, so we won't even talk about that. But we are talking about the paint because McLaren's trying to get a little bit more downforce or whatever they need. So will they go back to the factory and study that one and then say, what are we going to change? And will they change that between free practice 1, free practice 2, or is that something that continues overnight for free practice 3?
Basically, well, it really depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you have the Flovis on the front wing, you're changing that quickly in a pit stop. With the side parts, if it's not like disastrously bad picture that is painted, you will change it between the free practice sessions. You see a lot of Flovis on the rear wing. The thing is, those high precision Formula One cars, those high precision speed machines, It's way more complex than just look at the side pod and be like, all right, picture on the side pod is kind of bad, so I am going to redo the side pod. It might be that it is bad airflow coming in from the front nose. It might be that it is the airflow is disturbed by the front tires, I don't know, it could be anything. So it depends.
And so, Feral, another question is why is it we see it during free practice sessions? We see some of the cars come out with antennas and stuff like that, right? Looks like they're on a radio show, right? Like Williams have done that before in the past. But why is it the teams only at the moment? Like, why is it McLaren's the only one with the paint, and and Ferrari and Mercedes and the other teams are not throwing paint over their car? Why is that?
Yeah, well, because McLaren has done something that changes the aerodynamics dramatically. So it might be that they have new side pods, new front wings, that they have like those little fins over the front wheels, that they have done something to them, and they want to see how the airflow is doing. Maybe
so
they put in a new intercooler.
Has McLaren bringing new upgrades to the track then that they're testing?
It sure looks like it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, something new is there, and that's why you use the FlowVis. Because well,
so it's called FlowVis,
you want to know,
right? Paint.
Yeah, because you want to know how your car performs. That's basically it.
There's a lot of commotion down there at the Ferrari, because guess what, guys? You can see on the timing table, Charles Leclerc has yet to set a time. And at the moment, there's about 1,000 reporters pointing in the Ferrari garage right now as it's taped off. Now, they're pointing obviously at the Ferrari pit wall. They're pointing back into his garage. The car's in the garage, and obviously there's about 1,000 Ferrari engineers around there and press. But mate, do you think there's an issue with the Ferrari car right now? Have you heard anything?
Well, we have talked about how Red Bull is basically going out, showing their muscles to demoralize the enemies or the opponents, while Mercedes is basically rather taking it back a little, playing it safe. And you see Ferrari, once again, is trying their own strategy that just won't work.
Yeah, but Charles Leclerc's not even out of the pit lane, so there's something going on. Obviously, Carlos Sainz on the track right now. And Carlos Sainz's pace is not too bad, you have to say, there for the Spaniard in P5. He's just got a little bit of purple mini sector there, and obviously we don't know, once again, guys. We're looking at the timesheets based on something we don't know. We don't know obviously the tires we can guess, but we don't know how much fuel they're in there. They're doing their own racing strategy runs. That's what free practice is all about. All because somebody's on the top of the timesheets doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to be the quickest during the race. Because how many times have we seen Fernando Alonso on the top of the timesheets during practice sessions, but we don't see Fernando Alonso on the podium at the end of a race? So once again, just remember they are testing a lot of stuff, as we saw with the paint from McLaren. But that's the key, isn't it? Leclerc not even getting. But that's one thing to you, Feral. I mean, you still need to get some actual real laps, don't you, on a circuit? Because one thing in a simulator, mate, but when you actually get out there and it's bumpy and it's dusty. And remember, this track, they have not been here since 2019. So the earth does move. Things change. So you got to actually get out there, don't you, drive a car and feel the bumps and feel the grinds and feel the way the track feels.
Yeah, but in the end, it is laps you do around the exact same track over and over in a machine that is predictable, or that you try to build as predictable as possible, of course. So for a race simulation, it is absolutely enough if you just go out there, do about 10, maybe 15 laps or something. So you can basically just, have sort of a rotation in there, because you can extrapolate data. If I know I need 1% of tire per lap, I know I can do 100 laps. So I do 10 laps.
But you're right.
And see, is it 1% each lap?
But Charles Leclerc hasn't been on the track to even get that yet. It's easy as an engineer to say,
I see him out on track there on a hard tire, currently going through turn 9.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, my apologies. He is finally out on track the first time in this practice session, of course, 36 minutes into it. And yeah, that's late. guys out there, predictions once again for who do you think will be taking pole for this race? And how important is pole around Singapore, mate? Like, and another question, of course, safety cars. I mean, have we ever been to Singapore without a safety car in the past? No.
I don't think so.
No, we have never. And how does that play in strategy as an engineer, mate? You're crunching numbers already, aren't you? Like tire strategy, wear, everything. All of a sudden, the safety car's thrown in the mix. Like, how do you manage that in pit lane?
Well, it is basically just another talent to yours. I mean, I wonder how the beep can you know?
Yeah.
How can you know what happened there in 2019? That has been 3 years ago. I barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
You had a V8 engine with a national? It's a 1.6 liter 90-degree V6 turbo. Would that be what you had for dinner last night?
I wish.
As an engineer, you should know that one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And guys, we are reading the chat. Okay, it will always be a little bit of a podcast, so bear with us, of course, because I mean we can be reporting all the times. You could see them right there on the screen. This is a track map. It's all represented by racing statistics. We were chatting because we love to chat about F1, and we'd like to talk to you guys about F1. We'll report you any exciting stuff that's happening during the free practice sessions. At the moment, there's not a lot. Drivers are just going around the track doing what they do best, drive. But we also are listening to you guys chatting and your questions and answers. And trust me, Feral in here is an engineer. He knows his bits about an engine, right? He can tighten a few screws and bolts and tune a car. So, ask questions. I mean, all I do is broadcast, so don't ask me about any of that.
Tuning isn't like some sort of magic. It's science, it's math, it's chemistry and physics. So
you're saying everybody should pay attention at school, right? With your mathematics and for sure, right? That's a good thing to have.
Yeah, nah. Look, the thing is, I hated math at school, and everything. But then when I went to what is that, like, basically school year 7 through to 10. I just had this great and amazing math teacher who like really lived for what he was teaching.
All right.
And I can understand everybody who dislikes math because it's fucking, or it's bleeping boring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So are you saying if car multiplied by 23 laps divided by barriers equals win? Would that be a mathematical equation?
Absolutely not. Basically, lap time times laps in a race gives your finishing time. It's just when you basically go into it, always, everything you do in life, go in it with a mindset of there is no difficult things in life. There is only simple things. And difficult things are nothing else but lots of simple things strung together.
I love your positive attitude, mate. Exactly. This is exactly Feral at the moment. Mr. Positive himself. I love it. You're boosting us up. We love it. At the moment, Singapore GP, we're actually watching at the moment Antonio, I think they're a reserve driver for the Ferrari driver, looking down on the pit wall as McLaren, of course, is still throwing some paint all over the car as Lando Norris is on the track throwing some laps down. But, mate, going back to this, mathematics is obviously the key, right, to anything in life, really. I mean, we all go, mathematics, how's it going to apply to my regular job? Well, not your regular job, probably not. But if you want to be an engineer for Formula One, or you want to be an engineer for NASA, or if you want to be an engineer for
if you want to be an engineer, no matter what kind of an engineer, if you want to do it on, I don't know, a bicycle, you need to be fairly good at math. Same as if you want to build a Formula One car, you need to be fairly good at math.
Like Adrian Newey is a mathematical mastermind, right? He's built Red Bull cars and built Williams and the other shows he's performed in the past. And to you, mate, like, I mean, engineering's one thing. like obviously driving engineering, but then there's also engineering the parts and stuff like that. Like, how would you kind of like recommend to everybody out there that it loves F1 and says, look, I'm growing up in my career and I want to be a part of F1. What would you suggest for them to do?
Depends. It really depends on where you live. But basically you can just go like, I don't know. If I feel like it, if I feel myself up to the challenge, I get my resume, I send them down to Hinwil, to the Alfa Romeo factory, and I just apply. That's about it. It's a job like any else.
And you'll get rejected multiple times, right? That's the way the world works, guys, out there. So you always get rejected at course of jobs over and over again. Trust me, many jobs that I've had in the past, I've sent a resume in 100 times, and 100 times I've been rejected. But the 101st time, I got accepted. So you got to keep trying. But apart from that, you still have to be passionate. You still have to be learning. You still have to have your knowledge. Sorry, guys, we are kind of podcasting this, but there is not a lot of action on track at the moment. It's still 30 minutes of this practice session. But back to you there, because I'm picking your brain, Matt, because you are an engineer, right? And you are big braining how to everybody out there who may be interested in doing what you do.
Yeah, no, basically, yeah, it's a job like any other job. You just go there, you apply. Be honest with yourself. Do you think this is really the talent you have? Or is this just something you want to do in life but can't, basically?
I think a lot of people go, I want to be a driver. That's fine. Yeah, and that's something else too.
Yeah,
esports is a way to be a driver.
Drive.
Get out and get as much experience, because even esports, it's not the same thing, obviously, as driving, but you got practice on laps. You got practice on the circuit. You learn the circuit. I can close my eyes tomorrow and know how to drive around Italy. So could you, right? We can close our eyes and know which turns, right? Italy's an easy one.
Okay. Pretty much,
Singapore's if I close my eyes right now and tell you every corner of Singapore, and you guys could do it right now, honestly, close your eyes and imagine you studying across the race finish line in Singapore with your eyes closed and think of which turn to turn. I guarantee you guys probably get about 50% of those turns correctly and the rest of them wrong. Even the F1 drivers can't do that, by the way. But it's good way of rehearsing yourself on learning tracks and stuff. And that's what you can do to be a better F1 driver. But back to the situation as it is. Verstappen has got that 1.1 second lead over Alonso. Remember, he said that statement, 10 minutes ago?
Oh, that was way earlier.
He says, yeah. If Max wins this weekend, he'll have the championship. But well, this is the thing. Can you go over that? I know you're crunching some stats. Actually, you know what? Just let them crunch the stats down there in the racing statistics channel, mate. They know it. As far as I believe, if Max Verstappen wins and Charles Leclerc's 6 or so below, you guys tell us that, please. He wins the championship. Is that correct?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, let's think about this right now. Where is the Ferrari driver?
Well, we
Charles
got
Leclerc is way down there.
Yeah.
No, Charles Leclerc is they were laid out of the garage with the Ferrari team. Now, guys out there, let's go to another question, and it's going to be so much debatable questions at the moment. Do you think? All right. Do you think that A or B? Ferrari have let Charles Leclerc down this season, or Charles Leclerc has done something wrong with Ferrari, and Charles Leclerc could have done something better for Ferrari.
Yeah, no, Ferrari is screwing the pooch over and over and over and over, and Leclerc is basically trying to bring in solid performances, and he always has until that dooming strategy call came every single race, basically.
And that's interesting because you got to remember it was only a little while ago when one man started a race. Apart from, let's go back to Indianapolis, right? When there was only a couple of cars on the grid. But believe it or not, only just recently there was one car that started a Formula One race on the grid. Do you remember what car that was?
That was Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
Due to rain incoming for the start, everybody started from the pit lanes on intermediate tires.
Whose call was it? Whose call was it?
I have no idea.
And that's the thing that we all come down to, doesn't it? Like, I mean, Charles Leclerc, obviously people go Ferrari making all these mistakes, but you know, as a driver, you have calls, don't you? You can make decisions. We've heard Carlos Sainz, we've heard drivers go, no, I disagree with that, and they stay out.
Yeah, wasn't it Norris in Russia last year? Who thought like, no, I'm gonna stay out on soft tires? Well, he was in the lead, had a good chance of a win there, but then didn't win it because it started with torrential rain, and he was out there on a medium tire, I think, medium slick.
That's the difficult part, isn't it? Because you as an engineer, as a team, right? Like, how much do you give the drivers, like as a team engineer? How much do you give flexibility to drivers and go, okay, you got to make a certain amount of calls, and then we'll give you suggestions as engineers, but you're the one driving the car, right? You're the one that it has to make a decision.
Exactly. That's basically it. The engineer or the strategist or whoever sits on the pit wall looking at screens under a roof. So you basically only know whatever's in those screens, and you can cheat a little bit and look behind you. What are the other ones doing in their pit boxes? So you could maybe call one or another pit stop a little bit early, or maybe it was just a dummy they threw out, whatever. The thing is, every single call is always made by the driver.
Yeah, you're right. Because you guys know, even if it's virtual racing or real racing, the driver's the one that fills the track, right?
Exactly. Like, basically, as an engineer, my job is it to get the best strategy together and be like, all right, you know, we expect you to start around there. Then we try to get you on this tire for that amount of time, and this and that and that, and then you're in the end. That's the fastest we can do with the track.
Real quick, sorry to cut you off, because at the moment, I'm going to cut off, because George Russell at the moment is complaining about some sort of traction issues at the moment to a team
turn 8 and 9. That is where he already has buried his nose in the pillow.
Okay, so explain why he's complaining about that as an engineer.
How the fuck? How would I know why he has traction problems?
Why are they having that issue? I mean,
the tire might be cracked. The differential might have an issue. They might have. It might be the clutch that the clutch is gripping too much onto the propeller, the main axis.
Was the driver? What if the engineer is going to go? I'm not going to go back to the driver and say, "Well, I'm sorry, you're just a bad driver," right? I mean, they had to say something. Perez now on a flyer, and we'll get to that in a second, because the other Red Bull looking damn strong on the track. But yeah, I mean, you guys don't hear it obviously on stream, but I bet you as an engineer, you're like, well, mate, it's you. You're the problem, but we can't say it, can we?
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. Because, well, basically, a Formula One car does not use its clutch during driving. You know, you beat the gears into the running engine. So the thing is, now with the differential, you have a limited slip differential. So that means it's not just that the rear tires can turn basically independently or locked. You have everything in between. And basically a tire, as long as a tire grips to the floor.
Keep it on Perez while you're talking about this, but
yeah, I am. Purple Sector 1 doing great, getting into a...
Half a second, mate,
half a second to Verstappen.
But then Verstappen's responding, but keep going. I want to hear what you're talking about.
So yeah, the thing is, a tire is very, very grippy to the floor. But as soon as you lose that grip, the tire overheats and becomes basically liquid. If the tire's getting too hot, the rubber melts, it's liquid. It's like driving on ice. So if you lock up, that's where the smoke comes from. That's the rubber.
Let's get a pan out right now, of course. There's Perez on top, but Verstappen says...
Verstappen already taken the Sector 1 back.
Yeah, Verstappen says, I ain't going to be no number 2 driver, my friend. He's going to outshine. I really feel bad
we
for
got
Perez.
a puncture there on.
Yeah, there's a punch in the Aston Martin. But
is that Vettel? It looks like
flying
Vettel.
lap right now. Verstappen's on a screamer.
Not sure. He is good off the racing line, and no, that is.
Could this be a 134 3.5 maybe from the old Supermax? We'll see. Yeah, he got it. Wow, he's almost in the 42s. Yellow flag, of course, that was caused because of the Aston Martin that has a puncher. We'll get back to that one.
He tapped the wall there slightly.
So, yeah, our podcast has now turned into a real cast, of course, because it actually is action on the track right now.
Now we got some action happening, yes.
Yeah, the puncher was caused by the Aston Martin. Just, I mean, obviously, once again, guys, there's 23 corners here, right? Those walls take no prisoners. Slap it once, and guess what? You might not get a call back for another date. Put it that way.
And we got red flagged.
Yeah. Oh, that's because the Aston Martin's broken down. Yeah. Okay. So pictures for you guys out there to explain. It's Lance Stroll. What turn is he in? I can't
turn
see
7.
That. Yeah, it's in a dangerous place, and obviously during free practice, F1 does not around with that one.
Yeah, like
he's off the runoff area, but they're not going to risk it, are they? At that point,
no. One lock up, and there's another car in the rear.
What happened here? Which wall did he hit? Let's have.
He just tapped the wall. Looks like.
It's only guys who just explain the pictures, but it's only just a slight rear tap on the wall out of. I'm not quite sure what turn that was, but turn 5, yeah, turn 5.
It looks like 5, yes.
Yeah, and if you guys have played the game before or any simulator, like a slap on the wall, turn 5, tire puncher, bang, game over.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised. Okay. I mean, Stroll having an accident, Stroll hitting the wall.
Oh, yeah, you're throwing those puns, aren't you? Hey, he's daddy pays my salary, okay? And the message at the moment, guys, and I'll repeat this. He said, I hit the wall. That's it. I'm re-quoting that. That's what Lance Stroll said.
As an engineer, I feel like repeating what his engineer said, which was stop the car, 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 stop the car. So now the problem is if you hit a wall like basically a little bit sideways like Stroll did, there's going to be pressure on the axle, which is connected directly into the differential and the gearbox. So it might be that you get quite a lot of gearbox or differential damage from a little tap like that. It's just one of the weak spots of those cars.
It's a bumpy track. This is a great thing. I actually like this. This is why I love the racing statistics, my friend, because these guys know their stats. You don't see it so much on the cameras, but this is a very bumpy track. Remember, it's a street circuit. This is regular. You drive around here. If you've been in Singapore around these streets, and these streets very much when it's not an F1 GP, you're pretty much bumper to bumper traffic, right? You're downtown Marina Bay, Singapore. You generally no car and probably you will never find a time in your life that you can ever go more than 80 kilometers an hour on these streets.
Yeah, anyway. we got someone there in chat saying that Stroll is still a better driver than we are. I don't think so, because opposing to Stroll, I have never crashed a Formula 1 car.
That's true. But then again, I will accept the fact that he's better than me, because I wouldn't risk my life driving around 23 corners in Singapore in 80-degree heat in a cockpit. No way. Sorry. I'll take it.
I'll take it. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Here's a little bit of trivia for you, right? Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. But I know I want to throw this at racing statistics because I know these people love it, right? And then we're pausing at the moment because we are in a red flag situation, okay? So we're going to the old-fashioned Biggles and Feral trivia time now. Singapore was the first nighttime race, right? In Formula 1. And there's 2 reasons, obviously, right? 1, time zone. Remember, we're in the Asia-Pacific region, okay? So I'm early in the morning in the Americas. You're early in later per se in the day in the European time zone. So you want to kind of have a Formula One race that covers the time zones around the world evenly. Okay. Second, like where I live in the world, well, Singapore is 1 degree north of the equator. Now, we were talking about rain earlier. It rains in the rainy season in the Pacific area near the equator in the afternoon, right? In the afternoon, you'll get a downpour of rain in the afternoon. And what time is that? Race time on a regular Formula One track, which the regular Formula One tracks are around 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you had a regular Formula One track in 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Singapore, I guarantee you 90% of the races will be wet. So by being later in the evening, they don't have as many wet weather racing. So that's another reason why they do a nighttime racing thing. I mean, and if you don't agree with me on that one, look at Malaysia. That used to be in the Formula One calendar. One of the most wet races over and over again. And when it rains in Malaysia, my friend, it rains in Malaysia, as you've seen. Anyway, off that one. Go back to another subject that I want to talk about. There is pylons. The green flag. Those lights that go around Singapore, right? You don't see them, right? It's different than what you get in like the other street, like nighttime races of Bahrain, right? Singapore has all those. You remember, you see all those thousands of lights. The circuit. There's, in fact, I believe it's 1,000. I have my notes, of course. I've actually checked every one of those lights before in the past. I've counted them. I went out there one by one. You remember that one, don't you, mate? So like, Biggles, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm counting all. It
was okay. Gave me lots of time to.
1,600 of them, right? They're lighting projectors, right? You got to remember this. You don't. Formula One's not going to tell you this. They're lighting projectors that, with an internal reflector that project the light beams in different angles that prevent from blinding the driver's eyes. And as a result, this is true, this track is 4 times more brightly lit than a stadium is.
Which does those lights make the not hitting the driver's eyes
as much. That's a crucial part. Now, I have been into a couple of Singapore GPs before when I said, okay, you have 1,600 lighting bulbs. What happens if one goes out? Like, Bills, well, you know that. You went up there and changed it. But would you guys honestly know if one of those lighting projectors went out? No. But that's the difference between this track and the other tracks, of course, because there's only 1,600. No. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's
600 and something pylons, I think it is in Bahrain. So, yeah.
Yeah, now the thing is, if one of those goes out, that's no problem. You can just go and change it, especially because they're always chained. They are chained to 3 separate electricity outlets. So basically, if one electricity output fails, it is only every 3rd light that goes out.
Oh, you are so clever on that one, aren't you, mate? You are right sharp, the sharpest tool in the shadow here. What am I going to doubt you, Feral? You're just so clever on that one, mate. And, we've got facts, right? All weekend long here at Racing Statistics, you're going to get facts about Singapore you've never heard before in your life, ever. And trust me, I've heard facts that Feral's telling me that I never heard before in my life. I believe that we are undergo green flag conditions again of the race. They cleared that car. Verstappen still absolutely blisteringly quick. But overall, we'll give you more stats. Thank you guys if you do like that one. And there's so much in Singapore, mate. It's just all right. You know what? I want to throw this one out to you guys. How many gear shift changes does a driver do around Singapore every lap? And on top of it, I'll throw a dummy extra bonus question. I know 100% race. How many gear shift changes would they do on average during a whole, generally 2-hour race, right?
Oof, that was Singapore. A close one for science. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. No, absolutely. Call it.
That was far into the runoff. Good thing that is a very grippy surface there.
Somebody says 80 per lap. Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll go back to this one because, yep. Now, I'm a little bit scared right now, really, about Leclerc. What is going on?
All right, we have, we currently have a build of Carlos Anero, who is Carlos Sainz's manager. I have seen he has a similar, he has very similar hair to Binotto, so he might be a good replacement for our Ferrari wind indicator.
Oh, it goes wide coming out of the Singapore. Guys, remember Singapore Sling? We're looking back at the Ferrari at the moment. That's Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is in big trouble right now. He cannot get a decent time in. You're asking that in the chat. We don't know. He was sitting in the garage for a long time during the practice session, and he cannot get a decent lap in. We know the Ferrari's fast. Look at his teammate. But Charles Leclerc right now is not a happy camper when it comes to the Singapore Marina Bay, 5 kilometers.
I wouldn't go in too much. I mean, he is now on an out lap on a soft tire. I think he needs to basically bring something here. He's just ahead of Norris, has a clear track ahead, goes through the sling now.
Underneath the highway, the freeway. And then the 90 degrees now, the 90 degrees. This is where, the third sector, of course. It's just left, right, left, right, left. You can see it on the track map right now, of course. And it doesn't look so tricky, obviously, in the map, but you got to nail that one perfectly because it's tight. And 22 and 23 are one corner, of course. Charles Leclerc, exit speed, 250 k's per hour there on turn 5. He's on a flyer. Look at that track map. That's where you get DRS straight down there. Turn 7, nails it. Going into braking, heavy braking, of course, into the corners of 8 and 9. In the streets of Singapore, Charles Leclerc, he's up on his personal time, but no purple set there. So at the moment, we're trying to bring the pictures there of Charles Leclerc because at the moment, Charles Leclerc is on very much the back foot because he's representing Ferrari. He's representing a championship hope here because Max Verstappen's in P1.
No. That championship hope, no. I think championship is going to Max. Like even if they screw up the rest of the season, they only need like 1 or 2 good results left, and that's about it.
But you wanted this to go to another race. But if Charles Leclerc can't get this, Charles Leclerc, purple middle sector, almost taps the wall. The Ferrari man says, "There's no way, Mr. Verstappen, I am going to let you wrap up this championship because you need to get some crucial time in here. Even it's only a free practice session 1, guys. I'm getting hyped, but it's Singapore, turn 19. Charles Leclerc, couple more corners to go. He got up to P2, so I'm a little delayed on that one. But Charles is back and says, Maxi, it's not going to happen this race, perhaps.
Yeah, he just, wants to be there, up there with Max, like, giving him tight hug from behind, breathe down his neck, maybe chew a little in his ear. That's a good bromance those two are having.
George Russell's looking pacey. I had a few people actually said, Biggles, I think Merck might be very much on winning a race there. And I tell you what, and nobody actually told me that Lewis Hamilton was going to win the race. And I had about 3-4 people told me, DM'd me and said, Biggles, I think Russell might get their first Mercedes win of the year. That's another one for you guys out there in chat because it's very much possible. What about you, Feral? Do you think Merck can get this one done? Russell P4?
Well, looking on data and past performances of the Mercedes throughout the season, yes, that should be a very, very strong track for them. So they could be in with a chance for the win. Now looking at all the results they're having in free practice, being like 1 second off Verstappen by Russell, who is currently the fastest Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton down in P18. It's no. It doesn't look like Mercedes is performing well here in like practice. If we're looking at this practice, it looks like Mercedes is not performing all too good. If you're looking at whatever they did throughout the rest of the season and how the car performs, strength, weaknesses, etc.
But you got
Paris lost drive. That's terrible.
Red Bull's back in the pit garage. He went into the pit lane. We'll see. It doesn't matter at the moment anyway. He's got 6 minutes and change to go for the free practice. However, I agree with everybody on the chat, mate. Perez.
Yeah, no, look,
sorry, Perez. George Russell has been outperforming that beast. Hamilton is on a rampage right now. Let's not count out the 7-time world champion.
Oh yeah, Hamilton. That might even be a fastest lap overall. Come on, F1 TV,
yeah, keep show me
that.
Sector 2, Sector 3, and
don't want to see it in beta. Track. I want to see it live.
Here we go.
Even though I feel a little bit bullied because I'm apparently about 2 seconds behind you with a picture. But my data is all live, so I can see in the data what happens before I have to see it on track. So we're all good.
We still know Lewis is quick, right? We still know Lewis is getting purples. We still know Lewis is getting greens.
Yeah. I see a lot of purples through Sector 2, but it isn't quite enough there.
This is going to be quick, but I guarantee you it's going to be somewhere in the top 4.
600.
But the thing is, for Hamilton, he needs to get ahead of Russell. It is to remind Russell, I am Sir Lewis Hamilton. How many sirs do you have in your name, George Russell? None. So Hamilton's back. Can Hamilton be back in Singapore? It's only free practice, but you got to prove something. Hamilton is definitely going to get it done.
There we go.
The man is back on top of the step. I'm sorry, guys. I get hyped. It's free practice, but I'm getting hyped. It's Formula 1. Who does not get hyped in Formula 1?
Yeah, well...
It's only free practice, mate. Guess what? If you guys are... if you're thinking we're hyped, wait till you tune into the race, because Feral and I will be back for that one, won't we, mate?
I will. I have to say, I should just stop retreating from my statements. I mean... We started this session and was like, yeah, it looks like a very good Mercedes track. Great. We might see a Hamilton or a Russell win here, and so on. About 2 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, nah, it looks like they're still struggling in practice, but theoretically it might be a good idea. Then Hamilton comes in, fastest lap.
Yeah, mate.
Great.
Hamilton's reminding you, Farrell, like, remember me? Yeah, seven trophies in my cabinet, mate. 7, just 7. Guys, please remember, you will have for the very first time in the history of racing statistics, Mr. Feral himself, Mr. Engineer, Mr. Man of Knowledge, Mr. Walking Wikipedia, as well as you guys, and myself, Mr. Hype Man. Crofty even called me up the other day and goes, Biggles, you got to calm down. You're too hypo. We are going to cast the Formula 1 live race watch along. So you're either going to put up with us or hate us. Either way, we got to deliver you the results of the race, mate. And if this is just a practice session and I'm getting this excited, mate, bring the defibrillator. You might have to jumpstart my heart.
Yeah, if all goes well, we will even have a special guest for the race.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell him, but I've heard about the special guest.
Yeah, right. So
keep it a secret.
I don't say anything about the best FIA autocross driver in Europe.
Don't might secrets, man. Guys, tune in. If you want to hear from a secret person, I want to see those 215 thumbs up go to. If we don't get 300 thumbs up, mate, just tell him, nah, forget it.
I just tell them, nah. Our community doesn't care.
They don't want you. They don't want you here.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that one. So hit the thumbs up button right now if you want to hear a celebrity guest for the Singapore GP. At the moment, of course, we are finishing that practice session 1. It's pretty much going to be done and dusted at the moment. Hamilton just pulled out. What? Hamilton pulled out. I mean, if I was to say what I was going to say on air, it was this. That's what Hamilton did. Even Feral has no words in that one.
I'm just.
You're running down to the garage right now, studying the telemetry, aren't you, mate? I know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I was actually studying telemetry data on the side. It was a little bit sucked in there as it is fascinating now. Hamilton
by 0.084. Just that's a bit of a
yeah. But
there,
you know what's the fascinating thing about all the telemetry with it? He didn't have a single purple sector, and he was 1 kph off of Verstappen's speed.
And on
Yet
top of it,
he managed to just perfectly shorten the track, perfectly brake always a little bit later, go on the throttle a little bit earlier. He was basically, his car was worse throughout the lap, but he managed to just perfectly thread the needle through this lap, and that was the telemetry I was just looking at.
And that's
It
why
is, if you're into data, this is kind of like naughty videos from a certain hub to you. That is
right. So, but
beautiful.
I mean, this is one of the first times I've ever seen James Allison, one of the chief engineers, there. And if you guys actually follow Mercedes, he's on the Mercedes YouTube videos. They're talking about, how Mercedes are performing. They showed a video of him rather than Toto Wolff. So that tells me that F1 are saying, hey, engineering 101. But you got to remember, guys, that once again, as you said, that Lewis Hamilton, where did we even say the word Lewis and Hamilton in one sentence during 90% of this practice session? No. He came out of nowhere.
No, he was basically a no-show until that last lap where he just
he said Lewis Hamilton.
Those pictures are beautiful.
Sorry, my apologies, Sir Lewis Hamilton. He's been knighted. Now, at
least Jose understands me. Okay,
he might be a world champion, my friend. Oh, Hamilton's going quite quicker now. Is he setting another statement? Middle sector, blisteringly quick. Lewis, you don't need to prove anything else right now. We already know that, but session's going to be over in a second anyway. And, mate, if this is a sign of what's going to come for free practice 2 later, free practice 3 tomorrow, qualifying, and the race, I'm not sure I'm going to be alive to support this one. I might be. Racing, you guys have to help me. All right. I'm only here because I love the fantastic support from our community. So help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Yeah, this is pretty much it right now, isn't it? I think Lewis has backed off. Lewis threw a couple of mini purple sector 2s in there just to remind everybody that he has more pace, but he backed off. That is legit, mate.
Not entirely sure. Like, he's kind like there's only Ricciardo ahead of him, but basically far enough so he could have finished that lap. But that is a statement of Mercedes. So this might be a Mercedes win. Like, not just I want Mercedes to win a race in this season, but realistically, this is a track where they can win, like with a realistic chance of a win for Mercedes here.
Could you imagine? I mean, I don't think a talk of all season has been can Lewis Hamilton. I mean, last season, the checker flag's waved, all right? It's done and dusted there for the free practice session. But I haven't heard the word can Lewis Hamilton winning a race in 2022. I have not heard that from anybody's mouth.
I have heard that question a lot of times throughout this season.
What Hamilton just did, and I thought, remember, Max came out and just said bang, bang, bang through those early laps in free practice, going, I'm in the house, I'm going to win the championship, and certainly Max can. And then I can't believe what Lewis just pulled out of the bag last minute. I mean, when's the last time you seen Lewis on the top of the timesheets during free practice session? This is going to get absolutely spicy.
Yeah, but I have been saying for a long time that if Mercedes is going to win something this season, it's going to be Singapore.
Yeah. Well, can we roll that one back? All we have to do is click on racing statistics there and go back to the previous videos, right? Somebody has to go back and clip that video, find out where Feral said that one, clip the segment, and then we can replay that one later. But guess what, mate? That's it. We're over for the free practice. We need to have a cool down and a bit of a breather, and you can. I want to throw that telemetry data at you so you can crunch it for a little bit.
Yes, no need to throw. I already got that data here. Like 2 of my 4 screens are currently just filled with data times and break-in lines and stuff. So yeah.
When's free practice 2 then? So everybody can join us again.
2 hours from now.
2 hours you guys have. So brush up on your Singapore F1 trivia knowledge, because if I'm going to be back again, I'm going to throw more trivia at you guys than you're ever going to think in your life, because I've walked this track. I've been at this track. I know almost every nook and cranny. I can't give you the engineering information, but trust me, I'll jump back in the garage. I'll get Feral here. He'll throw you like how many kilowatts the turbocharger will produce in an F1 car. That's what we'll give you here at Racing Statistics. So
It's
Feral,
what? A turbocharger doesn't produce any kilowatts. It's pressure.
yeah, see, that's why I threw that question at you. You exactly answered that one. So anyway, mate, you want to end it? Let's get ready, guys. Obviously, this is the stream over. If you did like us, please like us. Hit the thumbs up.
Yeah, give us a like. Hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel, as we are doing this for basically every session. Unfortunately, I got back to work, so
you took a sick day for this, my friend. Don't you deny that.
By the way, but you know, free practice.
He did not take a sick day. He's actually sick.
Yeah, no, I got a terrible migraine, boss. I'm sorry.
All right.
Terrible migraine. I'm really suffering.
When is free practice too, guys? When can you click the button and get part of this one? When
is it? It's basically the stream will start in about 100 minutes from now. Free practice starts in 115 minutes from now, so not entirely 2 hours.
How many purple sectors would you require for that one?
For what?
It's over anyway. Go ahead, mate. End it. Let's go.
Yeah.
End it now.
Yeah. My bitches, my bros, my non-binary hoes.
Hey.
Always remember that you are someone's reason to masturbate.
Aye. Come on.